Welcome to Study with the Best, the magazine show that's all about CUNY. I'm Tinabeth Pina. On today's show, we're going to learn about a new development in nanotech happening right here at City College, see how Laguardia College is honoring the LGBT community, witness a CUNY graduation, and so much more. But first, a flutter of rainbows filled city skies recently to hail a traditional Parade of Pride. The summer of 2018 marked the 25th anniversary of what has become a tradition in the LGBT community, the Queen's Pride Parade and Festival. Celebrants filled the streets of Jackson Heights in a display of love and awareness to mark the struggle for social justice for gay men and women everywhere. The roots of the parade can be traced back to 1993, and its colorful history is being marked now with an expansive display of photos and memorabilia mounted at Laguardia Community College in Long Island City. Daniel Drum, now a New York City councilman, founded the parade against all odds.
Well, this parade started out of a controversy. It was the controversy over the Children of the Rainbow curriculum, which was a curriculum that was designed to teach tolerance of all of New York's diverse communities. And so for me, having been the former chair of the Education Committee in the New York City Council, after a long teaching career, it's just amazing that we've come to the point now where it's really not even controversial for the Department of Education any longer to want to teach an inclusive curriculum of all of New York's diverse communities, including the LGBT community.
Today marks a turning point in the history of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender rights movement. We want people to know we live right next door to you, and you know who we are.
So it's taken us a long while to get to where we are today, which I think is a much more inclusive environment.
The exhibit and photo collection reflect a sense of pride and self-confidence. Photographer Ryan Tiscarino with LaGuardia's photography program says this age of instant social media is transforming everything.
Now it's kind of like, hey, this is happening right now, get down here, let's start marching, these, trans lives matter, people are being, harassed in the streets for X, Y, and Z, and now it could just happen instantly with a young voice, and they're eager to push because they've seen what has happened to the LGBTQIA community early on, and they don't want to stand for that anymore.
Some 3,000 photos, videos, and memorabilia of the Pride Parade and its history are now archived and accessible.
We are committed to educating the public, and we do it through the archival collections. We have a living archives in which we use documents, photographs, anything in our collection to just educate the public on LGBT matters.
Much of the archive's contents came from the personal collection of Councilman Drum.
I didn't want it just to be stored and put on a shelf. I wanted it to come to life and to be used to educate folks and to educate young people in particular, and that's what LaGuardia has accomplished here. We parade in Jackson Heights to show the community we are your family, your friends, and your neighbors.
You can see the Queen's Pride archive by checking out www.laguardiawagnerarchive.lagcc.cuny.edu. For toddlers who are visually impaired or blind, moving around can be a tremendous challenge that causes developmental delays. Hunter College's Grace Ambrose-Zaken is the inventor of a new device that helps little ones navigate their world and reach their milestones. Maria Valmy has the story.
In the process of researching my book on the history of blind children, it became clear that there were 4 common delays that were seen as separate and apart from each other. The first obvious one is the motor delay. They don't walk as early, and when they do walk, they have body positioning problems. Then it's concepts. They lack concept, and they don't develop concepts as well, which affects their language and their social skills.
Grace discovered a lot of the delays these toddlers experience are attributed to stress, which could be lessened if the children experience safer mobility.
This little child has to think of everything about how can I try to move through this world. So I can't think about language, and I can't think about social, and I can't think about anything other than trying to accomplish this very stressful act.
They can't operate a normal cane. Even adults need a lot of training to operate a long cane. A toddler can't hold a doll for 5 minutes. They're not going to have the capacity. It's unrealistic to expect them to operate a long white cane in a way that's effective. Other tools that were available to them were like pushcart toys and other things that were useful, but they weren't really a great solution.
It hit me, what if we could have a hands-free? What if we could make a developmentally appropriate mobility tool?
That's when Grace started making prototypes of her walking canes in her garage. She would test her prototypes with her neighbor's visually impaired children, whom she was tutoring at the time.
Oh my goodness, it worked perfect!
Once she saw that her prototype worked, she decided to reach out to the Cuny Institutional Review Board for help.
Jerome contacted me and said, I am a father of 2 toddlers. My wife and I feel compelled to help you. We can't believe this is still a thing.
My lab at the City College of New York focuses on the development of medical devices. So we were able to contribute to Grace's vision to create a toddler cane by using the resources we have here to rapidly design and prototype medical devices. We were able to accelerate the creation of the toddler cane.
So for fast prototyping, we use 3D printers, and we 3D print all of these plastic parts. Toddlers' body are very small, so it needs to be lightweight, and at the same time it should tolerate the impacts, and it should be able to resist rough surfaces like cement or asphalt. Whenever you want, you can connect it to the rest of the frame or detach it.
The cane is custom made for each child, and the team of Safe Toddles continue to research ways they can improve their design by monitoring each child's use of the cane.
The first thing that we started to see on every child is the running, which when you work with kids who are visually impaired, you never see them run, and they run only if really coaxed and only if someone is holding on to them. So that was, when we first saw it in the first child who wore it, we thought, well, he's a 4-year-old boy, but his mother said, I've never seen him run before. They do blossom very quickly. Their body straightens up, their language gets better, and they start playing. We have put in for phase 2, which is a 2-year project to not only perfect the design of the cane, but also to create a computer application that would allow for data collection as well as provide lesson examples and ways to help people integrate it into their daily routines.
The toddler cane, we believe, is something that every visually impaired child has a right to. And for that reason, we've decided to provide these canes for free. For people who care about our mission and want to support this project, they can go to safetoddles.org and they can actually donate a kid a cane. So you can make a donation, you can buy 1 cane, you can in fact buy a whole school a bunch of canes. The toddler cane is a critical tool to give these children the confidence they need to be safe, and safety is development for these kids.
I'm Maria Vamy for Study with the Best.
Although the traditional school year has ended, let's take a look at one of the more poignant moments that riveted our country and our CUNY community. Here's a look at this past year's March for Our Lives and the BMCC international students who joined in.
My brother, he was in high school when he passed away. Ricardo was his name. Can y'all say it with me? Ricardo! 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 Ricardo!
Today, we take to the streets in over 800 marches around the globe and demand common sense gun laws. Welcome to the revolution.
My name is Ibrahim Diallo. I'm from West Africa, and I'm an international student at BMCC. Back in my country, my family were victim of gun violence, so I know how it feels when you lose someone.
Okay, so I am an international student, and I came from the Philippines. I've been here for 2 years. Growing up in the Philippines, hearing news about someone getting shot down, it's like being normalized for us. So for me, I didn't really grow up with fear, but for me, that's totally wrong. That's why I'm here today to like empathize with people and like tell them that that's not right. That's not normal. Anything violent is not normal.
It's going to be hard to read. I'm trying to make it darker, but it says ban assault weapons. And I just think it's crazy that citizens are allowed to have assault weapons when they're for, military use. I came out partly because I volunteer at a school, and a lot of times we have drills for people, for active shooter situations, and the kids are really scared. I get really scared. It's not something that children should have to deal with while they're trying to learn. We're at a breaking point. I think our country is realizing that this cannot continue. We're the only country, I think, that has this big of a problem. And so there has to be some solution for the problem.
I'm Denise Della Porta. I coordinate the Peer Mentor program at BMCC. It's interesting because as things were unfolding sort of in current events, a lot of my students are international or have never been active before, and they would ask questions. So I really saw it as a teachable moment to explain to them about how standing up for what you believe in is sort of an obligation as a citizen. We really try to let them, there's no bias about which way they should feel, but to understand that it's sort of the history of this country that we come together and stand up for what we believe in and pressure people to be heard when we don't like how things are going. That's how a democracy works. And it's kind of my honor to be here with some of my students who feel the same way. So.
We're here looking at this right now where I am. This makes me so happy that people are standing up, voicing out. People want to be heard, because in my experience back home, people are living in fear, really. Like they know what's going on, but they choose to turn a blind eye. So that's the difference, and it should be more like this right now. Young people, you see everyone, kids, starting at a young age, and it's just beautiful to be with people fighting for what you think is right.
Have you ever heard of nanotechnology? Well, it's a term that's in the news a lot these days, and one CUNY nanotech team just made a major discovery in the field. Ari Goldberg has more.
This is a renaissance opportunity, cutting-edge science being conducted in the heart of Harlem. We have the most advanced facility in New York City and one of the best on the East Coast.
Nanotechnology is a science that deals with matter on a very small scale, nanometers at a time, often just the width of a single atom. To give you a sense of just how small that is, a human hair, for example, is about 100,000 nanometers thick. And today, some of the very biggest innovations are happening in this very small world.
How do you manipulate this type of tiny things that you cannot see with your eyes or touch with your hands? And then study the properties. Electronic properties, magnetic properties, mechanical properties, chemical properties. So all of this all together makes the field of nanotechnology, and now is entering into hospitals, cancer research, more powerful, for example, phone or electronic devices.
But how does working with materials that are so small benefit us in the real world? Well, in medicine, there are already nanobots small enough to go into a body and deliver drugs targeted specifically at a tumor. Or in the world of electronics, carbon nanotubes are being looked at as a faster, smaller, more efficient backbone for the next evolution in computer processors. In many ways, it's the next great science frontier. Rieto's team specifically has been working on a different nano breakthrough, making diamonds from graphite.
In the macroscopic world, if you want to take a piece of graphite, so your tip of your pencil, and transform it into diamond, you need to use large pressures, right, and very high temperature. Now, what we have discovered is that if you go to the nanoscale, and instead of taking, a piece of graphite that is, 1 centimeter thick, for example, you shrink the thickness to having a single carbon layer, and you push these 2 layers of graphene one on top of the other one, you can induce a phase transformation and obtain a diamond layer. With very little energy, you're able to transform graphite into diamond at the nanoscale.
These aren't gem diamonds, of course, but more in the line of industrial diamonds. And the discovery made big waves in the scientific community. The practical applications of being able to create one of the strongest materials known to man in a thin, flexible, lightweight form are the stuff of science fiction turned fact. Industrial gloves protecting the wearer from injury, cars being safer with a diamond-hard exterior. Right now, the samples they're making are only about the size of a quarter, but Rieto sees great potential in the future.
The applications are clearly fantastic, because if you can imagine, right, that you have a layer, 2 layers of graphene that are flexible, are relatively cheaper than diamond to make, so you can make, for example, bulletproof vest. Then what you have is a vest that has this 2 layers of graphene, but when hit or under some pressure, hit by the bullet or under some pressure, it becomes diamond and actually goes back to graphene. So you have an instantaneous phase transformation of graphene to diamond.
Dr. Rieto's team made this discovery right here in this lab in the ASRC. But it was the College of Staten Island that provided the computer simulations to actually see and confirm what was happening.
How do you see at that scale that your 2-layer atomic layer atoms really form diamond, right? You can't really see. You see that you cannot, for example, penetrate with a diamond indenter anymore, which we did, but you can't really see your diamond. So that's why nanoscience often the experiments are coupled with computer simulation, because the computer simulation can visualize atom by atom and show the phase transformation from graphite to diamond.
That's why nanotech is a relatively new field. It's only been the last few decades that computers and microscopes have gotten strong enough for scientists to really see what they were working with. But now, researchers like Dr. Rieto are starting to take what was once science fiction from the lab to the real world.
I would say now we start to think about application, because for a long time there was a lot of studies but not clear application. Now you start to see the promise coming in reality of what you can really do with nanotechnology in the real world.
From CUNY's Advanced Science Research Center, where big innovation comes in small packages, I'm Ari Goldberg.
I visited Hunter College recently and found out what snails and venom have in common. It's a toxin that can help treat chronic pain.
Nature is the cure because these peptides have been tested for millions of years.
Mandy Halford, an associate chemistry professor at Hunter College, researches the peptides found in snail venom, which have been proven to be powerful painkillers.
Right now, currently, it's been used to treat chronic pain in HIV and cancer patients. The wonderful thing is that it's not just a one-trick pony. Each snail can produce somewhere between 100 to 250 different peptides in its venom cocktail, in its arsenal, and each of these has the potential to treat drugs. Currently, there's several other peptides that are on the market that are in different trials and therapeutic development for treating pain.
Researchers have already harnessed one FDA-approved drug based on the venom.
Prialt is approved. It's an FDA-approved drug that's been approved since 2004 in the US and subsequently after in Europe and worldwide. And it's being used on patients currently where morphine is no longer an option. It's similar to morphine, but it doesn't have the addictive side effects because it doesn't work on opioid receptors. And it does have a major drawback in that you have to take a spinal tap to deliver it. So the use is limited right now because of the delivery method. So in the lab, what we're trying to do is figure out ways to deliver the Prialt that are less invasive.
So is this, in a sense, one way to help fight our nation's opioid crisis?
We're in that crisis because a lot of drug companies know one way in which to treat pain, or one predominant way, which is using morphine. And morphine's great, it's effective, but you know it's addictive. This is what's happening currently, right? Causing trauma to a lot of families and a lot of people. And why this drug is important is because it demonstrated that we don't have to use opioids to treat pain. We can use something that is non-addictive. In this case, it's an N-type calcium channel, which is found, and it's a very selective thing where we shut off the pain. And so this is important because we basically can save lives. We can alter the way in which pain is treated if we use the venom from these snails.
Snails hunt their prey by paralyzing them with a venom from a harpoon-like tooth. Scientists have been harnessing this venom, and its continued research will create new pathways for pain treatment.
There's a lot of modern technology, genomics, mass spectrometry, all of these things that have come online that enable us to investigate venomous animals that before were too small or hard to get. Now we are able to do that. So we have both a rising technology, we have interest from pharmaceutical companies, and we also have interest in the scientific world where a host of scientists can work collaboratively to use venom to build better drugs for society.
Clinical trials with human subjects could be the next step for scientists in the coming years, which would eventually lead to the creation of a non-addictive pill for people suffering from chronic pain. There are 24 campuses across Cuny, and all of them had exciting graduations this past spring. Yay! Congratulations! Here's a glimpse at one of those ceremonies, the Cuny School of Law.
Welcome, families, friends, and distinguished guests. Thank you for sharing in our celebration of the class of 2018.
In Arabic, أهلا وسهلا بالأهل والأصدقاء وضيوفنا المميزين.
In Mandarin, 欢迎家人朋友.
In Haitian Creole, merci pour participer à la célébration. Nous, na classe là, welcome.
Class of 2018!
I turn to you. We did it, and we were up against so much, so it didn't really seem like we would make it. So I want to say to the first class of evening students who isn't here with us, but started with us, you did it too.
To the ones who did this while being undocumented human beings, you did it.
To the ones who did it while parenting, you did it. To the ones who did it with a disability, you did it. To the ones who are suffering from depression, you did it.
So to the class of 2018, thank God you're entering the profession at this moment because we need you more than ever. You will get to help define lawyer thinking. So think thoughts of equality and justice and healing for people who've been victims of crime and misogyny and transphobia and white supremacy.
At the start of the semester, I usually asked you why you came to law school. The students said things like, I came to law school because I was undocumented and I witnessed a family member go through the cruel and unjust immigration system, and I want to learn the tools and language that I need to protect my community. And they said things like, I'm here because our school prepares students to be fierce advocates for justice. And so you can see, if those are your students, you can't dial it in.
Graduates, you have inspired each other and all of us each day as you walk through the door and into your classrooms. Your passion and your creative energies have left their mark on each of us here and on the law school, just as they will leave their mark on the offices, organizations, and courtrooms where you will be working.
Every one of you is going to represent the best of the United States. Every one of you is going to represent its highest ideals, its greatest aspirations. Godspeed, good luck, congratulations.
That's our show for today. For more information on any of our stories, log on to our website at tv.cuny.edu or check out our Study with the Best Facebook page. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.